Use it or lose it. What gives you joy is a key to your gifts. What is your unique skill set? Find out what you love to do and then excel at it. On your way to success, you can do a lot. But when you've made it, stop. Hey, this is Marissa Peer. Today I've created a program. I'm going to walk you through the exact steps to find a life, to create a life that inspires you, fulfills you, and lights you up. You know, we're all put on the planet to find out what we love and be amazing at it. And we all want to do something that we're good at, but it's very hard to be good at something you don't like. In fact, if you consistently do something you do not like, that you hate and don't enjoy, you will start to pay a price. And the price you'll pay is often your physical health, your mental health. Your body will start to tell you that you're unhappy. So the trick, and it is a bit of a trick, is to find out what you love to do and then excel at it. So how do you find out what you love to do? Well, the way you find out what that thing is to look at what did you love doing between the age of 7 and 14. It could be 6 and 12 or 8 and 15, but around about the age of 7 is when you're beginning to see what makes your heart sing, what sparks joy. You're beginning to see what is your unique gift. What is your unique skill set? So let's take a little minute right now and start to write some notes on your computer. What were you always doing when you were a kid? What did you love? Like one of my clients said, you know, I was always doing puzzles. Puzzles were my life, and here I am now, I'm a strategist. Isn't that interesting? Yes, it is. I was always writing stories about families that are unhappy. My mother saved them all. I came from an unhappy family, so that was kind of weird. And then I became a writer and I wrote books on personal development for unhappy people. My daughter was always making outfits for her dolls out of Kleenex. Then she created her own fashion line. Because I was always playing with my dolls at a doll's hospital, and here I am, I'm a nurse or a doctor. So close your eyes and just sit and go back. Just take a minute and imagine the movie of your life is rewinding, going backwards, rewinding. It's going to stop. And you're now outside the home you lived in when you're 7 years old. I want you to imagine you're walking up to your front door, or even reaching out your hand, and you can feel that familiar handle. You're going to your bedroom door, and there you are, holding on to that door handle, going into that room. And as you go into that old childhood bedroom that you slept in at about the age of 7, or 6 or 8 or even 10, you're about to meet a younger version of you. And that younger version of you is doing the very thing that you love to do. Open that door, go in the room, and get ready to meet the young version of you doing the thing that you loved. What gives you joy is a key to your gifts, to your very unique skill set. So sit on the floor with the young version of you and ask them a question. Hey, what makes you happy? They know that you are the grown-up version of them, just as you know that this is a young version of you. And this little kid has a complete affinity with you, and you have a complete affinity with them. They will tell you anything. So take your time. Sit on the carpet, hold their hand, hold them in your arms, and ask them again, what do you love doing? What makes you happy? Of course, they'll say playing or sport or being with my pets, but go further. But what do you really, really, really love to do? What makes you happy? You know, Mozart was playing the piano when he was 4, maybe even 3, because that was his unique skill set. Stay with it. Were you inventing, making puzzles, writing, drawing? What is it? And as you stay with that child, I want you to tell them that you're visiting them today. You need to remember what you love to do between the age of 7 and 14, because you're here on the planet to find out what you love and to be amazing at it. And what you love lies directly behind, and it's connected to what you loved at that key age between 7 and 14. So now imagine that 7-year-old kid is becoming 8, 9, 10, 11. They're growing up right in front of your eyes, becoming 12, 13, 14. And you're looking at a montage, a collage of all the things you loved at that age and you're beginning to see, oh, right, I get it now. What I'm meant to do lies behind and is connected to what I love to do and what I love to do as a kid. And then when you find that answer, right, I can see what I loved. Jamie Oliver was cooking at the age of 10. He just loved cooking in his dad's pub. That was his skill set. Ask people, ask mother, father, brother, sister, see if you can find your old school books. When you go to bed and I say to your mind, hey mind, tell me, remind me in my dreams what I love to do. And it will all start coming back to you. And then when you remember what you love, and it's all coming back to you now, even as I speak, it's coming back to you, coming back to you, coming back to you. Now you have a gift. You're very lucky. You're one of those people who knows what they are meant to do and now can devote their time to becoming brilliant at it, amazing at it, phenomenal at it, because you can only excel at what you are meant to do and what you have a unique skill set for. So I want you to take your time to really make sure you're getting this right. You're becoming comfortable, familiar with what you are meant to do. It's starting to make an impact, and then you can spend time developing that, becoming amazing at it, studying it, learning more, taking courses. Like you might say, hey, I want to write, but you could learn to be an even better writer. You could learn to be a speaker so you can speak about your book when you've written it. When you find one skill, you can often learn, hey, how can I enhance this? How can I be amazing at it? I want to talk about something else. When you found what you are meant to do on the planet, finding your skill set and being extraordinary at it is everything. However, it isn't everything if it takes up all your time. If you never have family time, if you never have time to be with your partner, your children, your friends, if you don't have downtime, that's not good. If you're always on a plane, always busy, working. It's okay in the beginning to go, hey, as I'm building my career, I'm doing 14-hour days of research. That's okay. On your way to success, you can do a lot. But when you've made it, stop. You must have time for you. You have to go to work and switch on and give it everything you've got and then go home and switch off. Because there's no point in working all the hours if you get sick, if you can't be with your family, if you're always traveling, always working, if you can't ever switch off. And the first thing is, you can never be successful doing what you hate. Point 2 is, how do you find out what you're meant to do? Point 3 is, make sure that doesn't consume you and overwhelm you. Make sure that work is a big part of your life, but not all your life. So make sure you have me time, downtime, family time, joy time. And then let's go to the next point. It's very important that people value what you do. Step 4 is make sure you are picking a career where you will be valued. You know, I'm a therapist. I love being a therapist. I've trained 15,000 therapists. I feel very privileged that today therapists are valued. I know I do a great job. I help people to change their lives. I help them with their mental health. I help people have freedom and empowerment. And therapy is now valued. It wasn't for a long time. It was an indulgent kind of luxury, but now we see how many people suffer with mental health, stress, and burnout. Therapy is now valued. I'm really proud of the work I do. So it's a great thing when people value your work, value your contribution, say, hey, you are making a difference. Think about the area you're going in. Is it valued? Will people say, oh, you're doing a great job? Will people take your work seriously? And even if they won't, will you? That's very important. Can you sit with yourself and say, you know, what I do matters. What I do makes a difference. What I do makes people feel good. And by the way, everything we buy, almost without exception, because of one thing, it makes me feel good. Even paying your bills makes you feel good, so it's not hanging over you anymore. So if you have a product, a skill, something you are selling that makes people feel good. Some people pay a lot of money for a personal trainer. They go, I know it's a lot, but I feel good. And they make me work out so much harder. If they weren't here, I wouldn't do it. And it's actually worth every penny. One of my neighbors who is 80, looks not even 60, as a personal trainer, and you can see what it's done to this person. They look amazing, incredible. They have so much energy, and it's worth every penny because it's probably going to add another 20 years to their life at least. So that's VFM, value for money. So if I look at my career, I lecture all over the world. I love that. I meet people, I see clients, I teach other people to be amazing therapists, and I love it so much. And here's the joy: when you do what you love and love what you do, even though you work hard, it doesn't really feel like work, and you don't ever really want to retire. I'm very lucky because my career, being a therapist, I can work with 1 or 3 or 5 clients a day. I have a lot of free time. My evenings, my weekends are my own, but I might work if I want to. But my career gives me a lot of time. I have family time. I always had to go. If my daughter was sick, I could cancel all my clients and be with her. So I had that family time, that downtime. And I'd get letters every day saying, hey, this is the baby I had thanks to seeing you. This is the body I got, lost 100 pounds. This is my wedding. This is the promotion. I know my work is valued. And so I had all of those things that matter. And it's very important you do it too. When you can find a career that gives you meaning, connection, significance, purpose, growth, contribution, making a difference, and diversity, you really won't feel like you're working. You'll love it so much. I love this expression: when hope dies, old age runs to meet you. The brain is kind of brutal with what I call use it or lose it. And professors, artists, painters, composers are still working in their 90s, have the same brain neurons as 30-year-olds. So you don't want to retire. You want a job that gives you passion, that you never really want to retire from, that you love. You know, my dad died in 2006. He had an amazing death. In his deathbed, he said to me, I've had a wonderful life. I've had wonderful marriages, and I've had the best career in the world. I've been a teacher and I've helped children. He really felt that, and I loved that on his death, he said, I've had a marvelous, marvelous life. I've had the best job in the world. Of course, he talked about his marriages, but the big thing he was talking about was his career, because it wasn't his career, it was who he was. And I loved that. Even on his deathbed, he was talking about how happy he'd been. He had no regrets. And so imagine if you could do that too, because if you find the career that has your name on it, that makes your heart sing, then you will be just like my dad. You'll go through life thinking, how lucky am I? And if you go through those steps point by point, just the way I told you to, and by the way, if you say, oh, I was really getting into that, going back to that child, well, go back and do it again. Pause the recording, remember the steps. When you get into bed at night, close your eyes, get into that journey, the train going backwards, going through a time tunnel backwards, meeting your younger self, going, hey, remind me what you love doing, what sparked you, what excited you, what lit you up, what engrossed you and absorbed you. And pay attention to the answers, because they are an insight into what you are meant to do, the gifts you are given and put on the planet with. And we're here to use our gifts. That's why Frank Sinatra wasn't a plumber and Barbra Streisand wasn't a nail technician. If they had been, what a waste. And if you really love this and go, hey, I want more of this, I have a meditation on my channel called Activate Your Soul's Purpose. It's a much deeper, longer experience of going back and activating your purpose. So go ahead and find that, listen to it, and it will help you more than you could even imagine. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next time. Check out my next video here.